You're welcome back to the International Center of the Capital Region, Albany's Ambassador Podcast, where we explore global engagement, cultural exchange, and the people behind the work that connects our community to the world. I'm your host, David Peprah, and I'm excited to bring this episode your way. So our guest today brings more than 2 decades of experience at the intersection of public policy, legislative leadership, and civic engagement in New York State. Anton Konev currently serves as Legislative Director to New York State Senator Robert Jackson and Director of the Senate Civil Service and Pensions Committee, where he has played a key role in shaping major policy initiatives and legislative reforms. Over the course of his career, Anton has contributed to the passage of more than 60 laws, helping guide policy decisions that have influenced over $1 billion in state budget impacts. His career in public service has also included serving as a member of Albany's Common Council, where he authored and co-sponsored key resolutions aimed at improving public services and strengthening community engagement. Beyond government, Anton has remained deeply committed to civic leadership. He serves on the advisory board of the Rockefeller Institute of Government's Institute on Immigrant Integration Research and Policy. He contributes to environmental policy through the Guilderland Town Conservation Advisory Board and is a fellow of the New York State Academy for Public Administration. Anton's work has also been recognized very widely. He was named a 40 Under 40 Rising Star by the Capital newspaper and received a Silver Acre Award for communications, along with recognition for his work in people-to-people diplomacy. Anton is fluent in Russian and conversant in German and Spanish. He brings a truly global perspective to his work. That perspective also informs his role as a board member here at the International Center of the Capital Region, where he supports programs that foster international exchange and global dialogue. We are excited to bring this episode your way. You're welcome here, Mr. Anton.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. So we're glad to really have you, and I'll get directly into the questions. So you have spent more than 2 decades working in government and public policy. So I would like to know what first inspired you to pursue a career in public service and legislative work.
So for me, it was always about improving society around me. Whether it is in high school, and graduated Forest Hills High School in Queens, where I served as president of a student body. I came up to University of Albany, and I served as the vice president of a student class, as well as in the student association. And graduating university, I got involved in politics. I served as a Democratic committee person, eventually a city council member. And at the same time, while a student at the University of Albany, I interned at the State Assembly. I eventually got a job at the State Assembly, worked for my boss there for over 12 years, and then left, worked for a couple other things, government bodies and lobbying firm, and then came back to the legislature eventually. But every single step of my political and public policy career has been about improving our society. And that is what I love doing. I love helping people. As a council member, I loved helping people in small things. Everything from making sure that neighbors clean up after their dogs to a handicapped sign, to one-way street so that seniors don't have to cross street and looking both ways.
Yes.
So it's a very narrow street. To now in State Senate, we work to ensure that there is funding for our public universities and colleges, for our schools, and for community organizations. And I'm proud of the work that I do as well in the community, such as with International Center of Capital Region.
Yes. Well, thank you for your work and for your mindsets, the mindsets behind your leadership, because not many leaders, have the good of the society in mind. Many of them do it for personal reasons. So I'm really glad to hear that. Secondly, I would like to know, looking back at the early stages of your career, were there particular experiences or mentors that helped shape the path you ultimately took in government and policy?
So certainly my professors at the university had a positive effect on my development, but then also my supervisors at the state assembly who led me to a career from being an intern to being a legislative assistant to senior legislative assistant to eventually legislative director and at one point chief of staff. So this has been a positive experience because I met so many great people.
Yes.
People such as the board members of ICCR. Our board membership is very diverse, and that makes it a great organization to be involved in.
Of course. Yes. And you've helped lead legislative initiatives that resulted in more than 60 enacted laws. Very great. And when working on legislation, what do you believe makes a policy initiative truly effective and impactful?
Helping people, whether it is about improving their lives through improved pensions or helping them through other services, helping disabled on school buses and making sure that there is somebody there who is trained in dealing with people with disabilities. Yes. Helping people with insurance, making sure that our insurance system doesn't discriminate against various different mental health illnesses and others. And overall, every step of the way, it is about helping people lead better lives.
Yes. Yes, thank you for that. And for listeners who may not see what happens behind the scenes, what does the process of turning an idea into like an actual legislation look like?
Initially, an idea is being given to legislative directors such as myself, or it comes from a legislative director such as myself. It then is given to a team of lawyers who draft it into a bill draft. That bill draft then goes back to a legislative director. I draft the justification for that bill draft and then submit it. And it has to be submitted in both Senate and Assembly and have bill numbers in both houses. It gets assigned to a committee. So then a committee has to report it out before it gets voted by the senators or assembly members on the floor of respective houses, and then it goes to the governor for her consideration, and she could veto it or sign it. Lately, we have been quite a few vetoes because some things need to go in the state budget. So often an idea has to be funded, and so that's an extra step in a process. But it all involves advocacy, internal advocacy by members advocating in front of their colleagues, as well as external advocacy by organizations who would call the legislators and advocate for various different issues. On a federal level, it is very similar. Currently, the federal government, unfortunately, is cutting off funding for many programs, such as ICCR and international visitors programs. So in order to not have it happen, people need to get involved.
Yes.
People need to call the federal legislators
Yes.
and tell them that Open World program, for example, is a great program bringing people from all over the world
Yes.
to the capital region. And exchanges of ideas worldwide will make a better society everywhere.
Yes.
Because I really believe in John Lennon's song, Imagine.
Imagine, yes.
And one day we will
Be as one.
without a borders where we could not see a person of a different religion and immediately feel different about them, where we could see people beyond the color of their skin and beyond where they're coming from, or the language they speak, or their accent, such as myself, they speak with.
You couldn't have put that any better. Thank you very much for that. So I'm going to switch to your role as the director of the Senate Civil Service and Pensions Committee. You work on policies that affect public servants across New York. So why is strengthening civil service systems so important for effective governance?
Because without strengthening civil service system, without organized labor, people would have been abused and had to work way over time and not get proper reimbursement and proper pay for the hours. And without a good civil service system, we would not have public pensions. Because why do people get involved in public service? Most of them work for a government because they believe in what government does. But they also work because they know that the government can bring good benefits, good health care, and eventually a good pension. Because one day all of us will want to retire. And having a good pension and a reasonable amount of years that you put into the system is important.
Yes, I believe so. So you also served on Albany's Common Council, which gave you experience working closely with communities. How did serving at that local level shape your perspective on policymaking?
So again, people need to understand that there's three levels of government. There's federal government, and that's president. And no matter what we could think of a president and Congress, that work does certainly affect us because things such as inflation and higher prices is a direct result of work that's being done by our federal government and the president and the tariffs that are being put in. Then on the state level, we have also funding for various different state programs, Medicaid, hospitals, colleges, high schools, and overall K-12 system. And then on the local level, we have people who fix our roads, fix our sidewalks, people who work on housing and development here locally. And that is what sometimes is most important to people. People care about quality of life issues. People care about safety. So obviously the police, even now there is a lot of federal police and there's much issues we're not going to get into today or there, but most police is local. Most police is affected by local decisions, whether it is to hire more officers on the street or to ensure that the officers get paid properly, or make sure that there's a diverse workforce in the police. So that is the work that's generally being amplified in Common Council. My proudest moments is to work with General Services Commissioner to solve issues such as garbage on the street and garbage pickup, to work with police to solve issues such as people picking up after their dogs, because nobody wants to walk out and step into somebody else's dog.
Remains,
it's not right.
Yes.
And unfortunately, sometimes you have to legislate and guide people's common sense and people's care for others.
Yes. Yes.
Because some people just don't
care.
care about their neighbors.
Yeah.
So they'll do whatever they want.
Yes.
And so sometimes that is the role of government.
Yes.
To come in and tell people, well, really, you can't do whatever you want because there's laws and because they will fine you and we will eventually, hopefully, the financial penalties will result in corrective behavior.
Right. Right. And these are many of the issues that affect people directly. So I definitely agree with you on that. And over the course of your career, you've worked across policy development, public affairs, and campaign strategy. So what leadership lessons have you learned from working in these different areas for many of our people listening?
Well, first of all, in order to develop good policy, you need to have good people. So always it is important to elect good leadership.
Yes.
So over the years, I have helped to do that. Like I came into you here with a big folder. That folder is actually petitions for our state elected officials, for our Congressman Paul Tanko, and for local Democratic Committee people.
Okay.
So that is part of involvement. And as a matter of fact, I am now proud to represent this area, actually represents part of the university across the street from the university, and I live close to the university as well, so my housing complex.
Wow, that's interesting. And also you speak several languages and have received recognition related to people-to-people diplomacy and international engagement. How has having a global perspective influenced the way you approach your public service, and policy making?
Because I believe in equity, justice, that is racial, economic, social justice issues. And those issues come across borders. And, we need to be understanding that people across the border in Mexico, in Canada, and across the ocean, often have very similar issues.
Right.
And they're struggling, and they're looking for a better life.
Yes.
Like most people who came to the United States, because a majority of people who came to the United States came here for a better life. Unfortunately, some came not of their own will, and obviously we have a history of slavery in the United States that most people are not proud of. So it's certainly people who came here not on their own behalf, who were brought here, but then most others came here to look for better life. And
yes.
I would, sometimes argue that even those who didn't come here on their own, children and others who were brought to the United States without necessarily knowing or giving consent to that, are now better off, because the United States is the best country in the world.
Yes, the land of dreams. Yeah. So as New York is one of the most globally connected states in the country, in your personal experience, how does international perspective and global relationships influence policy making at the state and the local level, as we're talking about?
Because again, we could learn from each other.
Yeah.
There's always best practices. And while the United States, I think in most instances, is the best practices, there's certainly other practices across the ocean and across the borders where we could learn from others. Because one of the things is that we constantly are learning. And if we're learning from diverse backgrounds, our learning is so much more impactful.
Yes.
And so bringing in people and breaking down the borders is important. It's important for people all over the world to understand that Americans are not just one person, the president of the country, and it's not just one party. It is much of a diversity that we bring, and there's people from all kinds of walks of lives,
Right.
even in the United States. And most people are good people. I do believe so. Same thing in most other countries. It is important to show Americans that some of these other countries have really good people.
Yeah.
Understanding each other breaks down the barriers.
Okay, so now we want to bring it home to the International Center of the Capital Region here, where you are on the board of directors. So as a board member of the ICCR, how do you see organizations like the ICCR contributing to international understanding and global collaboration at the local level?
So we bring in people to the capital region, and we thank Congress and many others for their funding to do so. But we also do things such as Model United Nations in schools, where we bring international understanding to our young people. So both bringing international visitors and setting up a global mindset for younger people in our capital region are important things that the center is working on. And obviously we wouldn't be able to do that without the support of the community, without the support of many funders, and without the hard work that the board is doing and the board's current president is doing.
Yes, and the board is definitely doing a great work. So for those listening who may be interested in getting involved with the ICCR, what roles do board members play in advising the organization's mission? Because there may be people who may think, they are ready to join the board in any way. And what would you say to someone who is considering to apply to serve on the board of directors?
Well, certainly there are several ways of getting involved. Certainly attending our annual awards dinner is one of them. Attending international and getting international passport from organizations is another way of getting involved. And becoming a member of ICCR is the third way of getting involved. And then, yes, there is a board membership. Board constantly is looking for good people to join it. It's hard for smaller community organizations such as ICCR.
Yes.
We constantly are looking for extra funding. We constantly are struggling because the needs of the organization are great. You have to host people from foreign nations, so to organize and make sure that the conferences, Model United Nations conferences, are well organized. And we thank our state elected officials and others for their support. There's a Senate grant that I wasn't involved in. Obviously, I can't be involved in bringing that to the organization, but I could say thank you still to our state senators for it, our local state senators. But then there's also, again, people that come to our events and they give money. Sometimes small amounts, sometimes a little bit bigger amounts. But we unfortunately don't have any billionaires funding our organization, so we rely on community support.
Yes. And if you're listening to us and you want to get involved with the ICCR in any way, you can find our website, iccralbany.org. And if you want to also join the board, or you even want to be an intern, firstly for the board on our top navigation, you will see get involved. You pull down the menu, select board of directors, and you select the button on the page that says begin application, and you can start it and get in contact with us. If you want to be an intern too, there's so much information on the website. Again, it is ICCRAlbany.org. So, Mr. Anton, finally, for young people who are interested in careers in public service, international affairs, or policy making, what advice would you give them as they begin this journey?
Sure. An internship. You just talked about it.
Yes.
Getting involved and having an internship is how I got my first job in state legislature. I was an intern, and then I showed myself in the positive light, and I was able to get my first job. So certainly, while you're in college, intern.
Okay.
While you're in high school, you could even internships available to high school students as well. So at any age, you could get involved. And again, we also are looking for volunteers. We have people of all ages volunteering. So we have interns a little bit younger, and we have older people who volunteer to host an international visitor at their house, who volunteer to provide a dinner to an international visitor. All those things help, because again, we are a community organization, and we rely on our community to help us. We rely on young people to help us being interns. We rely on older people sometimes to give funds, others to just open the doors of their houses, because the best way to understand Americans is to visit and live in somebody's house.
Yes.
That is an important part of breaking down barriers.
Yes. So you heard Mr. Anton. If you're a young person and you're interested in public service, you want to you want to be like him someday, just intern, just like me as an intern. I just reached out to the ICCR through their website, got connected to them, and got all the information. You can find us on all platforms. You can find us on Instagram, ICCR Albany. You can find us on Facebook, ICCR Albany. On YouTube, subscribe to our channel to as you at it. And yeah, that's how you can start making an impact in the world. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Anton, and we hope to hear about many of the great works that you're doing, and we wish you the best in all you do.
Thank you very much, David. I really appreciate your time and everything you're doing for the organization, because, again, young people getting involved is how we collectively can improve the world.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, and see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.